At that point, had you met Tony Khan? Had you heard the rumors and the rumblings that perhaps he was wanting to get more involved in professional wrestling?
Yeah, Connie, I met Tony on one of those weekends that we had uh, a New Japan show in I think it was where was that?
Long Beach.
Long Beach. Yeah, thank you. And that was kind of cool. The Rock gave me that shirt right there. I should sell it. No I'm kidding.
I think that show, the Fighting Spirit Unleashed, happened September 30th, 2018. So it would have been about a month after All In. So do you think maybe you met him a month after All In, or did maybe you somehow meet him before?
I met him before. I met him during that New Japan show. He stayed at the hotel that we were all staying in, and he was with Alex Marvez, who I'd known years before. So Alex Marvez introduced me to Tony. We shot the breeze about wrestling, of course, and had a good visit. Had a cocktail or two. Tony drinks those. What do you call those little seltzer things?
He drinks Trulies and White Claws.
White Claw. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, it was. It, he was there to see that New Japan show.
So that would have been March 25th, 2018. And then you're sitting in the suite in September, Labor Day, and you see this sold out crowd that Cody and the Bucks and Kenny Omega all sort of put together.
Right.
And I'm curious, did you think, because I mean, listen, this is a story that everyone in wrestling has heard before. Oh, there's this new billionaire who wants to start a company.
Yeah.
I mean, we even heard that with Global back in the day. There's this mysterious benefactor and blah, blah, blah. It never pans out. But this one was going to. Had Barry already spoken with Tony? Had you had some preliminary conversations with Tony, or talk
No,
to
I
me
didn't.
about
The only conversations I had with Tony Conrad were uh, uh, that night at the bar. That's where I met him with Alex. I'm glad Alex introduced us. I saw right away that Tony Khan had a great memory. He was a lifelong fan, and just his dialogue and the topics of conversation proved that to me without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm thinking, well, if this kid who has all this amazing passion and product knowledge is if he's like this all the time, I could work with this deal.
right.
So it was a good meeting. I'll always be grateful to Alex Marvez for facilitating that happy hour, shall we say? And it was fun. They set. I don't know. There's probably video out there somewhere. They set on the front row. Alex and I don't know who got their tickets for them. I have no idea. I try to stay out of the ticket business as best I can, but sometimes they just drag you right back in. Buddies that I hadn't talked to since WCW wants tickets for things, so it's sometimes a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Because you got that responsibility now. If you commit, you're going to get tickets for somebody, and they make plans to be there. Their tickets got to be there too.
Right.
So sometimes for me, that's another worry I don't need to deal with. But it was a good weekend, to say the least. I had fun doing the show. I think that was my first. It might have been my first New Japan show. I think I worked that show with Josh Barnett, who I always enjoyed working with. He's a good dude. He always had my back. I mean, literally and figuratively, and he still does. We're great friends, and if I needed something that fit in his purview, I'd have no issues talking to him and him coming through. Just a great friend, and he's a student of the game, to say the least. And he saved my ass that time with uh, who was it?
Jay White and Juice Robinson.
Yeah, yeah, that's just a freak accident, but it worked out.
What was the reaction internally within WWE to these rumors that Tony Khan might be starting a wrestling business? So there might be a new competitor. Do you know?
No, I really don't. I don't know that they wanted to acknowledge it. Sometimes when you acknowledge something, it's real, and they added credibility and credence to the fact that there's going to be a new game in town, and the guy that's going to orchestrate this has the funding and the finances to get it off the ground and make it work. So it was a pretty cool thing.
When you had that initial conversation with Tony Khan
Mhm.
in Long Beach, had he expressed to you his previous attempts to work with WWE and
No,
how sort of the idea for AEW came about?
not really. Not really. We talked about the past a lot, historic things. He would tell me matches, even in Mid South, that he got tapes of that helped drive the conversation. So a lot of just historic stuff. Do you remember this? What happened when the Junkyard Dog did that? How was Bill Watts to work with? Things of that nature. So it was a great experience. But I found out right away Tony Khan was real. He had answers. He had education. It was great. So I'm thinking, well, I don't know where this is going to go, but I can see myself working with this dude.
We got to talk about what happened on November 5th, 2018. That's when all the trademarks are filed in Jacksonville, Florida. That's indicating the launch of All Elite Wrestling. Those trademarks included All Elite Wrestling, AEW All Out, AEW, Double or Nothing, Tuesday Night Dynamite, AEW Double or Nothing, several logos. This is all happening while you're under contract with WWE. Did you feel like Tony's timing was right? It was time for another competitor?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was good timing. I had a good feel about it. And I think those 11,000 tickets sold would be all the proof I needed that there's a market out there for it. And he was really good about forecasting and planning and things of that nature. My only concern was talent. What kind of talents is he going to be able to solicit and sign to help this launch? And he came through big time because a lot of the talents that he uh, that he was working with were guys that were going to draw money. So Bucks, Kenny Omega. By the way, I had a long talk the other day with Kenny Omega. We've got a great relationship, good friendship. He's a good guy, but he's got the diverticulitis issues ongoing. And I had 11 inches of my colon removed from diverticulitis, big surgery, and to get me healthy. But I said, man, just listen to the doctors. Don't let anybody rush you back. Take your time and make sure you're healthy, because this is not something you screw around with. This is not an ACL injury. This is not a labrum. This is your intestines. And you got to be smart and listen to the doctors, and don't let anybody on any side of your issue talk you into coming back early. It's just sending good money after bad.